Hello and welcome to the Philippines. We've got some big news about another typhoon, this time a little bit larger than the last one, less than 2 weeks ago. Super Typhoon Rolly, and understand it was coming across. Have 5 stages, 1 through 5 being the greatest, and the Super Typhoon, and it's just been downgraded a bit, fortunately, as it's come on to land. That rectangular box you saw around the Philippines, that is the Philippine area of responsibility for tracking typhoons. And when it comes into that area, the Philippines changes the international name always. They've got their own names. It can be a bit confusing, but anyway, that's what happens. Anyway, this super typhoon had entered the Luzon area uh, pretty close to the track that it took the last time here less than 2 weeks ago. And so it's going to bring high winds. High winds, I think I read 185 kilometers per 185 kilometers per hour sustained winds and over 200 gusts. So pretty strong winds going across there. Going to have a lot of rain, obviously, and you can see the big effect that it has all the way on up to northern Luzon, northern Philippines, and even here in Cebu, the Long Island, down between Bohol and Negros Island. We're going to get a little extra rain. It sounds like, especially on the north end of Cebu Island. Um, having a number of typhoons go through the same area in such a short period of time, you've got the virus isolation centers being used by a number of people, and now you're looking at I think they're looking at about 31 million people going to be affected by this. Of course, as it goes across the Manila metro area, you've got tens of millions of people that live in that area. Many in poor, low-lying areas that certainly will feel the effects of those floods. So we certainly pray for the best for them. And the last typhoon that came across here, in fact, it went straight across, hit Vietnam, Laos, and I think is presently in northern Thailand, bringing rains. Brought a lot of rain and flooding in Vietnam. Ended up a number of people who died there. I think the last typhoon caused 13, 16 deaths, something like that. There's still a few fishermen that are missing from that. And this site is called that I'm using windy.com. And it is amazing how much information over on the right, how much information you can plug in there. Everything from rain to cloud levels to snow levels, new snow, pressure. You can just plug wave heights. You can plug in just so much information, and it's a free app that you can download the app for your phones, or you can use it their online site as well, like I'm doing here on the internet on my computer. And as we move out here a ways, you can see a little bit larger view of the area. And I believe there's another low pressure area that could turn into a typhoon as well, but it's expected to go north. Like most typhoons go north. Even if they come into the Philippine area of responsibility, many of them will maybe have more effect on the north, Luzon, north of Philippines, or they'll go north to hit Taiwan on up to the Koreas and Japan, possibly many times. Um, Even down here, northern Cebu Island, we've got level 1 up. You've got 5 levels, one being the lowest level of typhoon, and 5 being the tops. And you still have a number of areas here under level 4, I think through the Manila area there. So they're going to be battered. Now that typhoon is expected to exit landfall officially, I think, late Sunday, night here, and it's Sunday right now. While I'm doing this, about 2 p.m. Um, or early Monday morning. Of course, it'll still continue to affect the Philippines for another day or so with with the rotation, bringing additional moisture in and across the Philippines. Now there is a little bit of online news coverage of the wind and the rain and debris being blown, the streets with trees toppled, those types of things. But it's just basically it's just started, so it's the damaging reports will be either later today or into tomorrow. Probably there will start being some more information about the damage online. The something you need to think about it when you're deciding where you're going to live, because if you're going to be on that easterly Pacific side, that's where most of the typhoons come from. Occasionally you get one coming sneaking in from the southwest that will affect the areas, but that is a bit rare. Mindanao Island down there on the very lower center side, that occasionally gets hit by a typhoon, but that is a bit rare as well. Cebu City is protected. Cebu is pretty well protected by the outer islands of Bohol, Samar, Leyte, and it usually loses its strength by the time it gets to us. I've stayed up late a couple times a few years ago. Typhoon was coming through our area and didn't mount to much more than your average rain shower, really, at that particular time, which was fortunate. Back in 2013, Typhoon Yolanda came through and did a lot of damage to the outer islands, Samar, Leyte, as well as Bohol. Some northern Cebu Island got hit pretty bad. It kind of snuck in and across. It was a super typhoon. Wiped out a lot of the crops, so did a lot of material damage to houses and other buildings. That same year, they had a 7.2 earthquake just off of Bohol that did major damage to buildings as well. So it was kind of a 1-2 punch there in 2013. A couple of other items in the news. All the rail lines are suspended operations. That would be primarily up in the Metro Manila area. Also, All Saints Day and All Souls Day here in another day or two. All Saints Day is very popular, where many of the Filipinos go and visit the deceased in the cemeteries, and some people even camp out there for a couple days. Tens of thousands, millions of people go through that process. They have pretty much shut they over this period of time, because they don't want the large crowds there. They shut down the cemeteries over a number of days. The very end of October, going into a couple of days into December, because they don't want those large crowds coming. And they've got the PNP as the Philippine National Police, so they've got those people out there the week earlier and the week after, controlling the crowds. Different places have allowed different percentages of people in the normal, fewer people. Some areas have even had a age limit. Some have not had the age limit. So it just depends upon your particular area. But very huge event here in the Philippines. A few people have asked me whether we ever get tornadoes in the Philippines, and it is quite rare, but I have heard maybe 5, 6 times I've heard of tornadoes, different places in the Philippines. This particular one happened October 26, 2020, couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago. And a dozen of large trees fell. A number of structures were damaged when a tornado swept through 3 barangays on the seaside town of Sultan Kudarat. So it does happen, not very often though. Now there is some controversy about these personal air purifiers. Some areas are suggesting that you have to wear a personal air purifier. Oh, you hang it around your neck, and it's about the size of a large donut, and apparently it ionizes some of the air, and the claim is that it helps destroy some of the viruses that you may breathe in. Many people feel it's not much more than useless, something else that's going to go in the trash over time and create more trash. But anyway, the DOH, Department of Health, clarifies that it is not endorsing the use of the necklace air purifiers that claim to kill bacteria and viruses. But it's also saying, well, as long as it doesn't do harm, if it's not blowing smoke out, damaging damaging fumes, that type of thing. If you want to wear it, go ahead and wear it. There are some areas that it's stated in some of the articles that you need, if you want to go to the resort areas, that you need to wear the face mask, the face shield, and a personal air purifier. And I would suggest that if I was selling air purifiers, I would definitely want that to be in the regulations. I would make a lot of money doing that, of course. Unless, and very probably unless, because of all those regulations, very few people decide to go to the tourist spots, to those areas with all those regulations. I suspect that is the case, and that in fact they will make less money. There will be fewer tourists because of the overburdening of the rules. So other than that, there's not much new news. Tourists are still not allowed to come in and gain their tourist visas. So not much news on the travel site there. There's discussions about letting more people come in as we get closer to the Christmas season. But we really don't know what's going on. Barely any hints in that direction. So anyway, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.